Hey guys, it's Tim and this is Wrestling Unlimited. As it's a Wednesday, let me get the logos down here, the links. That means tonight was AEW Dynamite. Pretty good episode of Dynamite. I enjoyed it. I thought it was very easy to watch. A good go-home show. I felt like it could have been better as a go-home show, to be honest. Like, it built up some things, but if I didn't know the pay-per-view was this weekend, and I was just like half paying attention to the show tonight, or like giving it a 3/4 of my attention, I probably wouldn't know the pay-per-view was this weekend. So that is something that to me fell a little flat. That, like, I guess I would say it was a good Dynamite, but not the best of go-home show for what a go-home show is supposed to be, if that makes any sense to you guys. As far as, like, again, hammering in, hey, this weekend is the pay-per-view. Because I feel like they only mentioned it a handful of times, kind of. Like, there are plenty of times throughout the show where I'm watching it with no thought of, oh, there's a pay-per-view this weekend. This is leading to the pay-per-view. This has, to do with the pay-per-view. So, because, like, I'm looking back here, we got the Owen Hart Cup stuff announced. We had Timeless Tony Storm versus Penelope Ford, which then led to Megan Bayne coming out. But it's like, okay, that just felt like more build, not a final build angle segment deal like we got with Mox and Swerve at the end. Like the MVP stuff with MJF, that wasn't anything for the pay-per-view. And I get you can't do everything on a show that's for the pay-per-view because you still have other people you're building up for the future and for future things. But it's like, I'm looking through here and I'm like, yeah, there are kind of a lot of things on this show that had nothing to do. Like Brody King versus Lance Archer. What the fuck was that for? Like, what the fuck is that for, to be completely honest? So, we'll see how it all does go. Again, I liked the show as a show, but it was just all right. So with that, I want to say thank you for joining me here. Twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Remember, if you're watching live on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can help us out by hitting that donate button down below or by donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, you can help us out by subscribing to the channel one of two different ways. You can either subscribe with a tier subscription, or you can subscribe with Amazon Prime, because remember, if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you a lot of cool things like free games, free stuff for games, and you always get one free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month. And I greatly appreciate it if you did right here for Wrestling Unlimited. Also, remember to help us out over on YouTube. You can help us over there by hitting the subscribe button. That way you know we post new videos. That way you know we go live, and that way you know we post to the community tab. Also know, if you want to support the channel in another way, you can do so by becoming a channel member and hitting the join button. As a channel member, you get access to emotes and emojis. You get access to our graphics packages and so many other things. Plus, if you want to get your comment, question, or concern read live on the air, another great way to support the channel is by donating a super chat. And finally, head over to the Epic Game Store. Head over to the Epic Game Store and buy something. Whether they're buying a new game, or they're buying an old game, or they're claiming a free game or getting bucks for Rocket League, Fortnite, or Fall Guys, use our code. Oop, and I just turned off the camera instead of getting the logo up there. Use our code PWU Unlimited at checkout, and you will be supporting us at no extra cost. Remember, we have some new things here in Fall Guys. Fall Guys ranked knockouts. I need to get back into Fall Guys. Try that out. Maybe do a stream of it soon or something. I do have an idea for a photography stream I'm going to do as far as like maybe going back and re-editing. I've learned a lot over the last year in editing photography. And so maybe I go back and edit some of my older photo shoots from like 2020, 2021 and stuff. Maybe I do a live stream about that. I don't know. But Epic Game Store got a lot of cool things on there. They got the spring sale going on for a couple of more days, maybe about 8 more days or so. So go over there, check that out, see what you got, see what they got, see what you want, and use our code PWUNLIMITED for all Epic Games and Epic Game Store purchases. One second. All right. As far as this show does go, let me get back to my notes here instead of looking at the Epic Store. As far as the show does go, AEW Dynamite comes on the air. They're in Peoria, Illinois. And Excalibur welcomes us alongside Tony Schiavone and Taz. Music of Jon Moxley hits, and he makes his way through the crowd with Marina Shafir ahead of their opening matchup, the mixed tag. Excalibur informs us Death Riders have attacked Switchblade Jay White prior to the show, and he is now out injured. They state that he was supposed to be in the Owen Hart Foundation tournament, but because of this, he is now out, and a new name will be taking his place. Excalibur tried to get this over as like the Death Riders just causing more chaos, and Cope now really wanting to get revenge. I don't know. They tried to play it up as a big deal, but I'm just like, okay. But my question is, did they do this because Switchblade has a real injury or not? That we don't know. When was Jay White's last match? Jay White cage match. When was Jay White's last match? That's my question. 29th. Oh, so he just worked this past weekend on Collision. I didn't watch Collision, so. It's interesting. I wonder if he is actually injured because he had that match against Kevin Knight. No, I did see it. He had that match against Kevin Knight, and then it got really weird and awkward. And he was like, "Give it up for Kevin Knight. Everybody cheer for Kevin Knight." And I'm like, what the fuck is this? This is weird. You just beat the guy, and now you're all of a sudden trying to put him over. But the guy just lost. I don't know. Well, Kevin Knight's the one that took a spot in the tournament. So, yeah. But as far as the opening matchup does go, it's Jon Moxley and Marina Shafir against Swerve Strickland and Willow Nightingale. So Strickland and Nightingale bolted to the ring to start the brawl as Nana is directing Swerve's house chants to the crowd. Shafir dropped Nightingale with a snap suplex on the floor as she helped Moxley set up a table at ringside. Nightingale and Strickland recover. The bell officially rings and the match technically now starts. Shafir hit multiple judo throws in the ring. Moxley took Strickland into the ring and flipped off the crowd, allowing Strickland to answer with a perfect dropkick. There's a backbreaker and a shotgun dropkick combo from Strickland and Nightingale, who followed with a locomotion corner splash before both hit a gritty. Shafir then returned to attack Nightingale as Moxley fired off a cutter and launched Strickland into the front row. Moxley called the shot, and Shafir kept up the attack on Nightingale. After a commercial break, it was all Shafir and Moxley in control, who set up another table at ringside. Shafir raked at the back of Strickland in the corner before Moxley followed suit. Nightingale returned and turned everything into like a Tower of Doom spot. Strickland taking the big suplex at the end, Moxley and Shafir taking the power bombs. Nightingale flying solo here for a moment, hit multiple corner charges until Moxley grabbed her out of the air as Strickland flew in with a pump knee, leading to Nightingale hitting a cannonball. Strickland hit a slingshot dive outside on Moxley as Nightingale spiked Shafir with a spinebuster for a 2. Moxley tossed Nightingale out of the ring, leading to Strickland returning and winning a slugfest against Moxley, but Moxley would counter a brainbuster into a rear naked choke. Shafir then tried a triangle on Nightingale, who countered a power bomb to Shafir on Moxley to break the hold. The ladies then fight to the floor. Strickland and Moxley slug it out in the ring. Strickland ducked a choke into a flatliner, but also charged for a house call. Shafir shoved Moxley out of the way, and she took the bullet. Camera then completely missed Nightingale knocking Moxley off the apron through the table, and then they just cut to Moxley went through a table. She then dropped Shafir with a doctor bomb and pinned her to pick up the victory. Good match. I thought this was really fun. I thought this was a really great opener with a couple of big spots missed, if I'm going to be completely honest, as far as the cameramen do go in. Because they don't do goddamn production meetings. They don't set everything up ahead of time and then have production meetings saying, hey, here are certain things that are going to happen at certain points in the match. Make sure you shoot them. Now, Tony apparently has said, I do have production meetings, meaning he meets with the agents, talks things over, and that's about it. So I guess you can think in different ways what a production meeting is. So, yeah. But yeah, like a legit production meeting like WWE or TNA would do is you get all the producers, the cameramen, the directors, or whoever in the truck together, go over the script, go over the lineup, have the producers talk about, hey, here's key spots we have in our matches that need to be seen, that need to be focused on and shot. And so that way the director knows, the cameramen know, and this, that, and so forth. But that's another story for another day. Post-match, everyone's celebrating. Moxley snuck into the ring and laid out Nightingale with a paradigm shift. This was kind of weird and awkward to the point where you almost think he didn't know it was Willow, because they tried to do the backing up into each other's spot, like, ooh. And like they try to back up into each other and it looks like they miss each other for a second. And then they back up into each other and then they back up to each other again, like for a third time, kind of. And then Moxley's just like, huh? Boom. And then hits her with the DDT. It felt a little weird and awkward. Like, I don't know if they messed it up or Moxley didn't want to do it. I don't know. It just felt awkward. Moxley kind of looks around, gets out of the ring. Him and Marina run off into the crowd, and they're checking on Willow like she's dead. And I'm like, I hate these spots. And I'm not talking about man-on-woman spot. I hate these spots where you take just a move, and all of a sudden, you're dead. Like, we see, I don't even know where to start here. Like, how do I explain it? You're in this match and you're taking all these moves. You're taking power bombs and DDTs and you're taking big clotheslines and you're getting thrown out of the ring to the floor. You get back up and you're good to go. But you take one DDT. Granted, it's his finisher, but you take one DDT and all of a sudden you're dead. Like, huh? It's like when people run down for a sneak attack and then they take the guy they're supposed to be attacking's finisher and they're done. You can go through a whole match and take like 4 of those and keep kicking out, but you get one in a brawl and you're dead? I don't know. That's one of the aspects of pro wrestling that just felt a little too, I hate to use this word, but fake for me. Where you can go through a match and take move after move after move after move after move, fall after fall after bump after bump after dive after dive. Get up and be fine. But you take down one when the match is over, or one in just a brawl, and all of a sudden you're dead. So, I don't know. Renee's backstage with FTR and referee Paul Turner from earlier in the day. They say that because he put his hands on Paul Turner, Dax that is, he's been fined $10,000. Dax said the reason he wants to do this way, is because he feels like, he wronged Paul Turner and wants to make sure the money goes to Paul Turner himself. So he hands Paul Turner a check for $10,000, says, hey, do something nice for your family, take your wife out to a nice dinner, this, that, so forth. And then he said, and then Wheeler at this point can barely look at Dax. He tries to apologize, says it was the heat of the moment. He thought Wheeler was just another security guard trying to get on him. Become Dynasty, they're adding to their dynasty and becoming the greatest tag team of all time. Harwood tried to hug Wheeler, who stopped them and said, Sunday, we'll be fine. But after the pay-per-view, we'll have to talk. Wheeler walked off as Harwood apologized to Paquette. Here's what I think's going to happen. I think this is all a swerve. They don't hate each other. They hate Cope. And I think they're going to lose the match to the Death Riders, and then, after the match, turn on Copeland. I think they're going to turn on Cope when they lose, whether one of them gets pinned or Cope gets pinned. And I can see it being Cope getting pinned and them going, oh, you fucking lost again. You failed again, God damn it. You might be too old for this. Let's kick the old guy to the curb. I can see that happening. I can see it happening. So then they revealed the brackets for the Owen Cup. And I'm going to pull these up on the screen. We got the brackets here for the Owen Hart Invitational. Let's full screen this. So as far as the woman's side of things do go, as we see here on the screen, we got Jamie Hayter versus Billy Starks, Thunder Rosa versus Chris Statlander, Julia Hart versus Mercedes Moné, and Harley Cameron versus Athena. Now, when we look and break all this down, I thought the finals could have been Athena and Mercedes, but no, they're going to most likely meet in the semis. I think Mercedes beats Julia, Athena beats Harley. And on the other side, I think it's going to end up being Jamie Hayter and Thunder Rosa. Thunder Rosa beats Jamie Hayter. Thunder Rosa goes to the finals with Mercedes. But then, who wins, Thunder or Mercedes? Remember, the winner gets a shot at the Women's World Championship. So because of that, I think Mercedes takes her first loss. I think Mercedes loses to Thunder Rosa, and Thunder Rosa challenges Toni Storm for the AEW Women's World Championship. Why? Because they're in Texas, and it would make a lot of sense. Now, if Athena would be the one to defeat Mercedes, and she goes to the finals, then I see her winning because she's also from Texas. For some reason, I have a feeling it's like a Texas girl going to be the winner and move on to challenge for the belt in Texas. Unless Athena beats Mercedes, goes to the finals, loses the Thunder, and then says, so I'm not going to All In to challenge for the world title because Thunder Rosa beat me. I understand that. But I did beat a champion in the tournament, and I want to challenge her at All In. So they could also go that route, with Athena making it to the finals, beating Mercedes, then losing to Thunder Rosa, and then going on to challenge Mercedes because she has a win over her. So there's a couple things that we can get out of this. We can either get just Thunder Rosa winning, because for some reason, my brain keeps going to Thunder Rosa's winning. But you can get a couple things out of this. You can either go just straight up Thunder Rosa wins, or Thunder Rosa wins, and you also set up Athena and Mercedes in this match, or in this tournament. So we'll see how that all goes. But as far as the men's tournament does go, let's full screen this. We got Will Ospreay and Kevin Knight, which was supposed to be Will Ospreay and Switchblade. Brody King and Konosuke Takeshita. Mark Briscoe and Kyle Fletcher. And Hangman Page versus a wild card. No clue, no tease, no nothing on who that wild card may be, though. So we'll have to wait on that one. As far as this tournament goes, I see Will Ospreay winning it. Will Ospreay is winning the tournament. Whether he's defeating Hangman or Fletcher in the finals, he's winning this tournament. Going on to All In and challenging for the belt. That's like the only thing they got here. Like, that's the best logical reasoning. Will Ospreay main eventing All In Texas, in Globe Life Field. Bada bing, bada boom. There you go. Like, it's just kind of pretty obvious. Remember, guys, if you want to get your comment, questions, or concern read live on the air, you have a question for me, you want me to talk about something specific, donate a super chat, and we'll talk about it. Speaking of that, we got a bit donation here from Esports Gaming Rules. Thank you for that one. He says, do you see a screw job finish thanks to Rock or someone? Maybe give Travis Scott a receipt if he shows up along with The Rock. Now, first off, this ain't a WWE podcast, but you did give the bit donation, so we will talk about this. It says The Rock and Stone Cold help Cody in Cena/Cody WWE Championship. I don't see Stone Cold getting involved at all. I'm just going to say that right now. Stone Cold ain't getting involved. I could be wrong, but I don't see it. He says, are you going to watch the WrestleMania 9 documentary? Because maybe we know why Hogan stole the WWE Championship from Yokozuna in front of Bret Hart. So if you think they're actually going to, go that deep into this ain't Dark Side of the Ring, bud. WWE is not going to go that far into, like, behind-the-scenes stuff. They talk about how, Bret says, oh, I'm going to be the top guy here because Hogan's injured, and Hogan's not going to wrestle. We don't know what's going to happen with Hogan because Hogan's injured, and then all of a sudden Hogan shows up and takes the title from Bret. I don't think they're going to go so far into, like, the behind-the-scenes and the politics and all of that. I just don't. It's a WWE doc on Peacock. It's not Dark Side. It's not a real 30 for 30 or anything. So I don't see it getting that deep, if I'm going to be completely honest. I think it's going to be a fun, cool documentary because all of these Peacock original, with Peacock putting more into it than normal WWE docs are usually really good. We got the Cody one. We got the Bray one. And yeah. I don't see it going that deep as to, Hogan shoehorned his way in. Now, I don't know the full story. I kind of want to learn it. I have a feeling that once the documentary comes out, and if they don't really go deep enough into it, Meltzer will probably talk about it because Meltzer loves talking history, stuff like that. So, but yeah, I don't see them going that deep and behind the scenes with it. I see them going a little, and they already showed that in the trailer where they talk about how, you know, Hogan was injured. We didn't know if Hogan was even going to be able to participate on the show, this, that, and so forth, which is true. And that's why he was kind of shoehorned in there. But I don't think they're going to actually talk about fully why he was shoehorned in there, I guess you could say. But he says it's not an ass-kissing Vince doc. No. But at the same time, they don't want to make the company look like, you know, a wrestler back in the day, even though he had control, so much control over everything and everyone. So. But as we move forward, we're also told, and we learn later on what the match is going to be, that the men's tournament will start at Dynasty. The first match of the tournament will take place at Dynasty. We did learn later that will be Will Ospreay and Kevin Knight. Then we had Toni Storm versus Penelope Ford in a non-title match. A little clunky finish, but okay, I guess you would say. Storm wasted no time, attacking immediately with a spinning backbreaker and fisherman suplex for a near fall. Storm missed a hip attack, allowing Ford to hit a shotgun dropkick and a springboard double knees on the apron before mocking Storm's pose. Ford clocked Storm with a big boot and was in control heading into a commercial break. We returned to Ford, hitting her handspring back elbow and charging punt kick, but when she went to lick Storm, her tongue was bit by Toni Storm. Tony Schiavone says, "I've never seen anything like that before." Taz was pretty surprised. Storm ramped up, hit a sweet cheek music, and spiked forward with the DDT for a near fall. Got a leg capture STF from Storm that led to Ford getting a rope break as she pulled Storm to the outside and hit a moonsault off the apron. Back inside, Ford hit a gutbuster for a 2 as she missed a follow-up high kick, letting Storm hit a snap German suplex. Both appeared briefly on different pages as Ford dodged a Storm 0. She tried her Matrix Stunner, but Storm avoided it and hit a Storm 0 to pick up the victory. So there we go. Excuse me, try not to sneeze. Toni Storm does pick up the win. Afterwards, Megan Bayne comes out, not in any gear or anything, but still got the big ass headdress on. Okay, it's cool, fine, whatever for the entrance, but when you're out here, just coming out and have the thing on, it looks stupid. It looks stupid as fuck. Just gonna say it. She comes out and does like the small congratulations golf clap thing. Storm stares her down, welcomes her into the ring. She didn't bite. She just posed. Yeah, because this is really getting us hyped up for this match at the pay-per-view. Who the fuck cares about this match? Who cares about Toni Storm versus Megan Bayne? And not this guy at all. I don't care at all about Toni Storm and Megan Bayne. They want you to think it's the big, strong, bruising Amazon woman against the very successful, highly touted champion. But in the end, who really thinks that Toni's dropping the belt to Megan Bayne? I don't. I don't see it at all. I don't see the appeal of the match. I don't see the appeal of Megan Bayne right now because she's done nothing. Yeah, she's got some wins and she does a F5 type move for her finish that for some reason looks like she's doing it different almost every time. But why should we care about Megan Bayne at all in AEW? Why should we care about anything Megan Bayne is doing, done, or will do when we don't know anything about her? She's just come in, posed, looked strong, not done anything. I think the only thing we've ever heard her say was it last week in that tag match. She yelled at Thunder Rosa or Toni Storm, one of the two, to stay down. She's like, stay down! And that was it. Other than that, we haven't heard her speak. We haven't heard her motivations on why she wants to go after Toni Storm in the title, anything. So it's just like, yeah, no. Yeah, no. But then I think they go on to do Toni Storm versus Thunder Rosa at the pay-per-view. All in pay-per-view. But we also got to get to Double or Nothing first. So I don't know where they go with Toni at Double or Nothing. And you know who we haven't seen? since losing the title. And we have we seen Mariah May at all since dropping the belt? That's the weird thing. That's a very weird thing as well. Where the hell's Mariah May been? Esports Gaming Rules with another bit donation. He says the women's tournament is kind of like who going to go to Texas to be in the hometown AEW pay-per-view for a women's title, but why do the Owen tournament while AEW is milking money for Owen's name? And what is the update of possible AEW deal for Sting? Possible? There is no update on the Sting thing. Like, if Sting's going to show up at the Hall of Fame or not, he's going to show up at the Hall of Fame or not. I don't know. I don't think they have to cut a deal between WWE and AEW. I don't know what the terms of Sting's alliance, allegiance, or even deal with AEW is. Everyone says Tony would have to allow it, so we'll have to wait and see. As far as your other comment here, the woman's side of things just being Texas hometown. Well, neither of these women are from Dallas, I don't think. Thunder Rosa, she lives in San Antonio, and she's not even originally from Texas. She's from, I don't think. She was born in, Thunder Rosa was born in Tijuana, Baja California, Mexico. Went to University of Berkeley. I didn't know that. Wow. University of Berkeley. For what? What kind of degree does Thunder Rosa have? That's awesome. I love Berkeley. I've been up to Berkeley plenty of times. Oh, social worker. Interesting. Okay. Very cool. But yeah, so lives in Texas now, but not from Texas. More of a California girl, if anything. And then Athena, I think she's also South Texas. Let's see. Athena from, oh no, never mind. She is from the Dallas area. Garland. That is the Dallas area. I didn't know that. I thought something told me she was more from the Houston area. I thought I had heard something about her being from like that Houston southern area, but nope, Garland, that's Dallas. That's the Dallas metro area. So yeah, I could see her being in a big match, whether that is for the world title or the TBS title at All In, because she is technically kind of like a local girl. Because what, Garland to Arlington, not far. Let's see, Garland to Arlington. Was that 30-minute drive? 45-minute drive. You're literally just going from one side of Dallas to the other. You're going from northeast Dallas to West Dallas. Moving forward, Renee Paquette is backstage and asked Swerve about any updates on Willow after her, attack from Jon Moxley. Strickland said he's strong and brave, which is why he didn't have any problem facing the Death Riders with her. Well, she's strong and brave. I read that wrong. She's strong and brave. Strickland said Moxley knew the history of neck injuries that Willow has had, so now I'm on the hunt. Strickland won't rest until he gets his hands on Moxley again, and not just at the pay-per-view tonight. By the end of the night, he promises that this will happen. Paquette seems very unsettled by all of this. And think about it. Hey, your husband just DDT'd this woman, and now I'm on the hunt to go beat your husband's ass. Basically what he said. He was like, your husband is a piece of shit. I'm going to treat him as such. Strickland went back to checking on Willow. And there we go. Excalibur then tells us we got a bunch of things announced for All In Texas. The full lineup of the week has been announced. We got a Dynamite, a Collision, a Starcast, Death Before Dishonor AEW pay-per-view, and then All In Texas. All taking place in the Dallas-Arlington area. MVP and Bobby Lashley were in the ring, met with MJF. Where does Shelton live? Because they said bad weather kept Shelton from the show. Where does Shelton Benjamin live? He's from South Carolina. Billed from Minneapolis. I don't know, but they said because of bad weather and storms and whatnot, he was unable to make the show. And I don't know if he lives in Oklahoma, but we had some bad storms in Oklahoma. I want to send prayers to everybody that got hit by the tornado this morning. We had a tornado touchdown here where we live just outside of Tulsa. couple of houses did get pretty wrecked up. Some trees uprooted, fences knocked over and stuff. So there's a cleanup process and everything. So yeah, just really feeling for those families that did get affected this morning, roughly around 6:30 to 7 o'clock this morning. Tornado did touch down and do some damage. So MVP and Bobby Lashley make their way to the ring. As we're told, severe weather has caused Shelton Benjamin from being here tonight. Before Lashley could say a word, MJF's music hit, and he makes his way out to the ring. A fan had a sign that read, "Sign my sign," and MJF faked signing it, took the pen away, leaving the fan with a hilarious, heartbroken expression. MJF compliments how good MVP looks before telling Bob how much he was disrespected last week. MJF formally introduces himself and said he loves the big man. Shelton, wishing him well. Stay safe. We'll see him down the road. MJF said that Lashley has done a lot in his career, but this is AEW, and he's standing on the block that MJF built. MJF said that he could help Lashley and Benjamin hold the tag titles a lot longer if he please. Just like they could help him regain the world title. MJF and the Hurt Syndicate is just good for business. MVP says he knows it. MJF knows it, even though the mouth breathers in the Midwest know it, and told the crowd, talk to him when Peoria ever matters. Lashley might not want MVP or MJF, but Bobby, you big, beautiful bastard, you need MJF. Basically what MJF is saying here is, hey, I'll help you guys retain your title if you help me get back the world title. Lashley said, let's be clear. Out of respect to MVP, I won't leave him laying right now, but tells MJF, I don't like you, and I don't trust you. Hurt Syndicate don't need you. Unless he proves otherwise, he needs to get out of their face and out of their business. MJF questioned having to prove himself, but says goodbye to the crowd and walks to the back, giving one last glance on his way out. Big Bill and Brian Keith's music hit, and they come down for a face-to-face with Bobby Lashley and MVP as Bill places a seat for Lashley to sit and watch their match. And I'm like, there's another one. Who the hell cares about this one? Now, I get it. This match was changed. It was supposed to be Lance Archer and Brian Cage challenging for the tag titles, but Brian Cage got hurt. And so they had to change things. But it's like, even if that was the match, who would care? Because they're not beating the Hurt Syndicate. Big Bill and Brian Keith aren't beating the Hurt Syndicate for the tag titles. So it's like, we're going into this Dynasty pay-per-view with too much. Oh, that's too predictable. They can't beat them. They won't beat them. Granted, the Moxley Swerve match, I could see it going either way. But like, let me pull up the card for Dynasty really fast. AEW Dynasty, as far as the card does go. Jon Moxley versus Swerve Strickland. Probably Moxley retaining, but I could see it going either way. Tony Storm versus Megan Bang. Tony Storm. Kenny Omega, Ricochet, and Speedball. Kenny Omega. Death Riders. Rated FTR. Death Riders. Jericho, Bandito. Bandito because it's title versus mask. Daniel Garcia, Adam Cole. That's another one I could go either way because it don't matter. Will Ospreay, Kevin Knight. Will Ospreay. Mercedes Moné, Julia Hart. Mercedes Moné. So it's like, other than 2 matches, everything else is super predictable. Super predictable. I will say that for sure. This Dynasty card is way too predictable. Also, only 8 matches. We gonna get more? I think we get more. Now, they are filming Collision right now, so if we have spoilers, by the time we're done with this Dynamite review, I will talk spoilers for Collision, but we'll see how that goes. Esports Gaming Rules, another bit donation. Thank you for that. He says, in Texas is going to be the afternoon, so AEW won't go head-to-head with WWE Saturday Night's main event. Yes. So they did announce that All In is starting at 2 p.m. Now, I didn't see if that's 2 p.m. Central or 2 p.m. Eastern. Let me look really fast. All In start time. Because that is smart to start the show earlier. Still in Texas start time. For some reason, it popped up with the London time. 2 p.m. Central. The show will be starting at 2 p.m. Central. So if you live on West Coast, that's noon. We'll see how it all does go, though. But it's a smart move. You move it early. You go early. WWE can't move their time. They're stuck on TV. They're stuck on NBC. So it's not like they're just on Peacock and can run whatever. They're on pay-per-view. They can technically run whenever. Smart move by AEW, for sure. We did have Big Bill and Brian Keith. Never told who the guys they fought were, though. Bill launched one of them over the top with a gorilla press down to the feet of Bobby Lashley. The other tried to attack Bill from behind and rightfully got a "you fucked up" chant. Keith ran in with a charging knee, and Bill hit a chokeslam and picked up the win. Nothing to it. Trying to put these guys over as dominant, trying to put them over as formidable challengers, but again, nobody cares. Lashley and MVP smiled and applauded the slaughter. Bill took the mic and starts talking like it's an Enzo and Cass promo. He had that dialect and everything. He said they whooped Top Flight's ass, and tonight they whooped these guys' ass, and on Sunday, they're going to whoop the Hurt Syndicate's ass for the belts. It's because they want a shot at the AEW tag titles. MVP was going to say something, but Lashley stopped him, smiled, and they just went to the back like, hey, don't even give them time. Don't even give them breath. Let's go. So, yeah. Lashley even knows this is a fucking waste of a match, the pay-per-view. Rampy gets backstage with Mercedes Moné and is asked about facing Julia Hart this Sunday in the opening round of the Owen Hart Cup tournament. Moné said that Hart is a former TBS champion, but not the greatest, as it takes more than tricks and spells to defeat her. Paquette brings up Collision and says, Athena and Hart taking on Moné and, well, your partner. And then in comes the mini Moné puppet from Harley Cameron. Cameron has been thinking of great names for the two of them. Before she could say it, Moné silenced Cameron and Mini Moné as she walked off until Cameron was like, I got the name. The Moné Wrath Train. Money Math Train. And yeah. So I guess on Collision, it's going to be Mercedes Moné and Harley Cameron teaming up to take on Julia Hart and Athena. And I'm just like, how the fuck does this match make any sense? How many times did Mercedes talk down to Harley? Say Harley's worthless. Harley ain't deserving to be in the ring with her. Harley's not a formidable challenge. What did facing her at the Australia show change your mind about Harley? She now thinks Harley is better than she is? I don't know. This pairing makes no sense. But they had to get Athena and Mercedes in there because they're building that big match up, I think, for the All In show. Also, Taz mentioned something about maybe I get a puppet of my own. So then we got more, not teases, but what's the word I'm looking for? What's the freaking word I'm looking for? Not teases. More previews, I guess you would say, for this Owen Hart tournament. We got foes teaming up. Will Ospreay and Kevin Knight against Blake Christian and Lee Johnson. I saw the Lee and thought Keith. Lee Johnson. I'm going to say, I don't think this match really went the way they thought it was going to go. They got the crowd they tried to get the crowd who wasn't familiar with Knight. They tried to get him over, and it just didn't work. The crowd didn't care. They cared when Will was in there. But other than that, they did not care when Kevin Knight was in the ring. So Shivani mentions that Christian having a 7-match winning streak on ROH. Woo! Including one over Kevin Knight. Ospreay and Christian trade shoulder tackles early on and kip-ups. There's a snap hurricane by Ospreay as he tagged Knight, who hit a leaping splash for a 2. Double drop kick sent Christian and Johnson to the outside, allowing Ospreay and Knight to ramp up the crowd and hit stereo dives. Back inside, Johnson tripped up a Knight, giving Christian a chance to hit an enziguri as Ospreay was hit with a spear on the apron heading to commercial. Johnson and Christian control the entire break, But when things returned, Knight mounted a comeback, leaping a double clothesline attempt, diving for Ospreay's hot tag. A pip-pip cheerio connected on both men, as did a handspring corkscrew kick. But Johnson pulled the legs out, allowing Christian to hit a corkscrew dive. A 450 double stomp, back inside by Christian, but Ospreay countered a suplex by Johnson into a stun dog. 1 point, my notes just froze. Let me scroll down. There we go. At one point, Ospreay leveled Christian before tagging Knight as he ran wild with corner splashes, placed Johnson on Christian's shoulders, hit a massive dropkick, leaping to Johnson, hitting a destroyer of his own, or on his own partner. Kind of a weird spot. I don't know. Ospreay then sent Christian outside, as Knight hit a huge springboard lariat and picked up the win. So again, they tried to get Kevin Knight over in this match before he's going to go lose to Will Ospreay, and I don't think it worked because the crowd just didn't know who the guy was. I'm going to be completely honest. I barely know who Kevin Knight is. I'm going to be honest. I only know who he is because I saw his match at Wrestle Kingdom with the tag titles on the line. Like, I'd heard of his name before. I want to say Wrestle Kingdom this year is the first time I actually watched a Kevin Knight match. Him and Kushida are tag team champions. But it's like, I don't know who the guy is. Most of these people seem like they didn't know who the guy is. So I get it. You sign him, now you got to try and get him over. But he's going to go there and he's going to lose to Ospreay pretty quickly. I don't think that's the right way to do it. I don't think him losing to Ospreay already is the right way to go. Plus them telling us, oh, he's lost to Blake Christian in ROH. Like, again, no. I don't think it's right. Anyways, post-match, Tony Schiavone got on the mic and said, hey, just so you guys know, you're fighting at the pay-per-view. So there we go. The Ops are backstage. Samoa Joe said that he started this group because he knew the battlefield was changing, and he knew he needed to switch up his arsenal. He said, come Dynasty, he, Hook, and Shibata will be in the building, watching and seeing all. He then said, don't let us catch you lacking. Fuck. The hell's that even mean? We're going to be there. So, yeah, we're going to be there. That's all I got out of this. What are they going to... The Death Riders are going to retain their titles and then get challenged by the Ops? Sure. No, not even close, Elite. And they're not even anywhere close to the same kind of... Kevin Knight is Timu LA Knight? No, which means you don't know what that joke means, calling somebody Timu. So you may want to stop, bud. Is that not at all what that means? Just because they might have the same last name doesn't mean one is like the other or a lesser version of the other. Not at all. That's like saying, oh, what's his name? The one guy in No Quarter Catch Crew in NXT. Miles Bourne. You could say he's a Timu Randy Orton because he's trying to be Randy Orton. That's about it. Corey, if you listen, we talked about that. Talked about that spot when we recapped that match earlier. I don't know if it came in late or not, but we already talked about that match and that spot. And commentary talking about it. Anyways, Brody King versus Lance Archer. Sure. They just needed two meaty men. And I guess this was just a way for Brody to say, oh, I beat a Don Callis guy before I face a Don Callis guy in the tournament. Sure. Okay. Callis had words with a fan that cosplayed as him. We see one like almost every week for the past couple of weeks. It's weird. It's weird. Archer and King wasted no time trading heavy blows. Archer hit a clothesline over the top to the outside. Callis said that they're playing the long game as he wants Archer to win tonight. But this is about softening up King for Takeshita in the Owen Cup. Archer hit a tumbleweed off the apron, but King battled back with a charging crossbody against the barricade. After a commercial break, Archer hit locomotion splashes in the corner, but King answered with a stalling German suplex, running crossbody and a senton for a 2. King charged, but ran into a black hole slam from Archer for a near fall. Big choke slam connected for another 2 as Archer chased referee Paul Turner from the ring. A brief delay allowed King to hit a series of corner strikes, including a cannonball and a wild lariat for a 2. Archer spun out of a powerbomb attempt, but King was there to meet him with another and pick up the victory. So there we go. Brody King does get the win going into the tournament. Sure. Then Cope versus Claudio. Real solid main event match. These two worked fantastic together. The fans tried their best to sing along with Cope's theme, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm over it. I'm over the fans singing wrestlers' songs, not thongs, songs. We saw it a lot this past month with AEW or WWE's overseas tour, and now like AEW crowds are trying to do it, especially with Cope. And I'm just kind of over it, and it's kind of starting to get boring and annoying. It's like they do it, they let the crowd sing. Half the time, the crowd barely knows the words. I saw one guy in the crowd going, and looks at his friend and goes, I don't know the words, but whatever. Literally looked at his buddy. The camera's right on him, and he's like singing, and then he looks at his buddy and goes, yeah, I don't know the words. So, and then they kind of just peter out. You can tell most of the crowd didn't know the rest. Anyways, I'm kind of over the crowd singing thing. I think it's played its course. Anywho. They let the crowd sing. Bryce Remberg waited for Cope to look at him and tell him, okay, they're done. And then he started the match. Like, come on. Castagnoli sent Cope crashing into the barricade early on, but Cope recovered and launched Castagnoli into the LED boards. Cope was relentless with some forearms here. Back inside, Cope avoided an uppercut into a backslide for a 2, as Cope held onto the wrist for multiple lariats, only Castagnoli no-sold it, returning some of his own. Neither gave ground, as Castagnoli went full Mike Tyson, biting at the ear of Cope, who ducked a lariat and a sit-out slam for a 2. Castagnoli tried recovering on the apron, but Cope charged with a spear through the ropes to the outside. After commercial break, Castagnoli hung up Cope, throat first on the top rope before heading to the top, only to be cut off. Cope managed an avalanche bulldog off the top to reset things. At one point, Castagnoli got an eye poke, double stomp, and a giant swing for 10 revolutions. But only got 2 off of it. Castagnoli wanted to go for the neutralizer, but Cope spun out and hit an impaler DDT for a 2 of his own. Cope at one point managed to reverse a grindhouse, but Castagnoli got to the ropes and onto the apron. Cope followed, but was planted with a snap power slam on the edge of the ring. Castagnoli then launched Cope over the barricade and threw referee Bryce Remsburg into the ring, demanding a countout. Cope just broke the count, barely, then walked into a huge lariat for a 2. One point, Cope charged for a spear, and Castagnoli hit a pop-up uppercut for a 2. A neutralizer connected, but again, Cope would kick out. A frustrated Castagnoli grabbed 2 chairs and wanted to go for a concerto, but the referee ripped them away, allowing Cope to hit a low blow, cheating, spear, pick up the win. Cope defeats Claudio. Good match. I thought this match was really good. These two worked great together. We'll go to the back with Renee Paquette, trying once again to get a medical update on Willow from Swerve, who is bickering with Prince Nana. He just leaves. Swerve told Paquette, no offense, I'm looking for your husband. Hangman then storms up. This was freaking great. This went hard, too. This was freaking great, though. So Hangman comes up, and he's all power walking. Swerve, I gotta tell you something. God damn it. He gets in Swerve's face, and he's like, you're wasting your time going for the title. You're wasting your time challenging Moxley because you know that I will never let you win the title. I will never let you be the champion again. And Strickland's like, I know. And Swerve's like, yeah, because you broke into my house. And Hangman goes, or Swerve goes, and you burnt down mine. And Hangman goes, but you deserved it. And Swerve goes, yeah, I know I did. And Hangman kind of like, wait, what? What? Okay, then. Like, it took Swerve or Hangman aback when he's like, oh shit, you deserved it. You agree? Oh. Well, go deal with Moxley then. Page took his admission, walked away, and then the Death Riders would show up and attack Swerve. Moxley sent Swerve crashing into a glass container for some sort, I don't know why, and then dragged him to the ring. Strickland was then left in the ring with the Death Riders. They're all surrounding him as they all held him for Moxley, who slapped him repeatedly. Yuta dumped a bucket of glass into the ring as Castagnoli hit a Ricola bomb first swerve onto the glass. Moxley got in the last minute trash talk before they all left. Strickland then did but didn't. He did the whole, oh, I'm hurt, but I'm going to try and no sell it thing where he's like, he's slowly getting up. You didn't beat me up. Kind of like the Undertaker, Jeff Hardy spot. I'm not dead, Undertaker. You haven't killed me yet. And then Moxley's in the crowd just laughing. And there we go. That's how we build the final moment for the pay-per-view and the main event, Swerve and Mox. So yeah, not bad. Not bad at all. But here's the question. Was it real glass? Was it real glass? That's the big question. As far as Collision does go and the lineup for that show, let me get the poll going here first. Get the poll going here. What think of Dynamite? I liked it. It was all right. I didn't like it. K Ballard, we talked about that multiple times today on social media, on YouTube, and on our website, pwunlimited.co. Mercedes Moné versus Harley Cameron, or Mercedes Moné and Harley Cameron versus Athena and Julia Hart announced for Collision. Cash versus Pac. Top Flight versus Action Andretti and Leo Rush. And then Speedball Mike Bailey versus Drilistico with Ricochet on commentary. Oh, Axel with a good one. Do you see Josh Alexander as the wild card? If his visa situation is figured out, then yeah, it's actually not a bad idea. Holy shit, I didn't think about that one. Good thinking there, Axel. I was just thinking, I hope it's not Jeff Jarrett. I hope they don't do that one again. But let's see if we got spoilers or Collision yet really fast before we wrap everything up. Not there. Not there. Oh, we do have some news on Switchblade. We are going to read this really fast. Looks like Fightful has an update on Switchblade Jay White. Let me load this up. If it wants to go. Come on. Oh, Patreon not wanting to load. So as far as Switchblade Jay White being out with an injury and not being able to compete in the Owen Cup tournament, being replaced with Kevin Knight, Fightful does write the following on this, stating, quote, Switchblade Jay White is going to miss some time. AEW mentioned on Dynamite that Switchblade Jay White was injured due to an attack from the Death Riders and out of the Owen Hart Foundation Memorial Tournament. Fightful learned that White has sustained a legitimate injury ahead of Dynamite, but that a storyline reason was created to explain it. Fightful has confirmed the injury and that Jay White is expected to undergo surgery. We've not confirmed what the injury specifically is. The injury has caused some significant creative changes as a result of his removal from the tournament. Whew! That sucks. That's horrible. That's bad to hear that somehow Jay White did suffer some sort of an injury that now needs surgery, which means, man, could be out for a while. Man, could miss a couple of months and may even have to miss the All In show. If he's out for a couple of months, if he's out because of he needs surgery, don't know how bad their injury is or what the injury is, so we can't give a for sure he's going to miss All In. But with All In being, 3 months away, hopefully he can be back in time. So we'll see what we do learn in the coming days, coming minutes, coming moments, coming months. But if you do hear anything further on Switchblade Jay White, we will have it for you right here, Pro Wrestling Unlimited. But it doesn't look like we have anything regarding Collision. So let's go to the polls and see what you guys thought of Dynamite. Come on. On Twitch poll. Why won't you want to load? Or Twitter poll. There we go. Threads. Did I not do a community poll? I thought I did. You must not have went. Yep. I never clicked post. All right. So as far as the Threads poll does go, that didn't go either. What the hell? We got a Twitch poll. Ugh. 36% liked the show. 31% thought it was all right. 31% didn't like it. Resounding, people don't like this show. Different on YouTube, though. 75% liked the show. 14% thought it was just all right. And 11% didn't like it. As far as the Twitch poll does go, 50% liked the show. 25% thought it was just, no, 50% thought it was all right. 25% liked it, and 25% didn't. With that is going to wrap everything up. I want to say thank you for joining us here. Twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Remember, we will be back live on Friday for Friday Night SmackDown. Have a great night. Have a great week. And we'll see you next time. Have a good one, guys.